All I can say is wow, one of the biggest signings in the club's history has happened today. Welsh international Nathan Broadhead has signed for a reported £7.5 million, a new substantial club record fee that Wrexham have paid for a player. Quite frankly, one of the biggest bits of business a newly promoted side to the Championship has made to date. Wrexham have poached Nathan Broadhead from recently relegated side Ipswich Town from the Premier League in a deal worth up to £7.5 million, completely smashing our transfer record fee out of the window like we've done many times this transfer window. It's a massive signing. It is a big statement of intent for Wrexham Football Club going into the Championship this season. We were after an attacker and we have splashed the cash on a Welsh international. So before we get talking about our latest signing, of course I say it every video, make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button. We're on the road to 29,000 subscribers. Let's go as well for 550 likes for the signing of Nathan Broadhead, and I'd love to hear your first thoughts in the comment section down below. Without further ado, let's get given a bit of a profile on our new signing. So as Wrexham fans and as Welsh Wrexham fans, we know all about Nathan Broadhead as he's featured a lot in the Wales squad over the past year or two in recent years, in our World Cup qualifiers, our Euro qualifiers. You know, his stint at Ipswich Town really made a name for himself and got into the Wales squad under Bellamy and Rob Page, and you know, he's made 14 caps for Wales, scoring 2 goals, one of them coming on his debut dramatically away to Croatia in Split, of course, when he secured that draw in the 93rd minute, and his second one coming in a friendly against Gibraltar, which was actually played at the Racecourse ground. And another fun fact for you at home watching this, you probably won't have known this, but Broadhead did actually spend time in Wrexham's academy up until 2008 when he was 10 years old. His performances in the Wrexham academy got him a move to Premier League side Everton, so it's more of a welcome home than just a welcome for Nathan Broadhead. And if we're looking at Broadhead at club level, he enjoyed some really successful loan spells at Sunderland in League One, where I think he registered like 14 goals and assists when he was there. He went on loan to Wigan in League One again, where he's just scored goals and got assists, and that's sort of been the story for Nathan Broadhead wherever he's gone in his career. He's a guaranteed goal scorer, he's a guaranteed chance creator, and he's a guaranteed assister. You know, he is that creative player in the final third. He can find that spark, and I think a prime example of that was his spell at Ipswich Town, where he was at the club in League One. He helped them gain back-to-back promotions in the Premier League, and every single season he played for Ipswich Town, he was scoring goals. He was being a key part in their team, leading the line, whether it be on the wing, in central attacking midfielder, up striker. You know, the versatility we saw from Nathan Broadhead across his spell at Ipswich was very apparent, and you know, in his time at Ipswich, he spent 3 seasons at the club, registering 32 goals and assists in 83 games. And if we're looking just last season, Ipswich Town in the Premier League, he made 18 appearances, 7 of those being starts, and I think Wrexham being a newly promoted side from League One to the Championship, bringing a player like Nathan Broadhead, who, like I said, is fresh off the back of a Premier League season. A lot of Ipswich Town fans were saying he was very underrated in their setup and unfortunately won't get the game time he deserves, but I think they were saying his injury record has sort of limited his game time over the past few seasons, and if he was to stay fit, he'd have probably still been at the football club. But again, having that player with Premier League experience, Championship experience, we're going to get talking about his statistics in the Championship from 2 seasons ago, is just going to be a big bonus to our front line this season. So what can Wrexham Football Club expect from our new signing Nathan Broadhead? Obviously it's a massive signing. We've paid a massive fee for him, and he's obviously a player that Phil Parkinson really wants in this Wrexham team, and he thinks can really take us from what we're currently at here to the next level, especially up front in the final third. But I can't help make the question and raise the question, where will Nathan Broadhead fit into our system? Because I've just talked upon his time at Ipswich Town, and last season in the Premier League, and over the course of his time at Ipswich, he's mainly been a wide player, specifically on left wing. However, across a lot of appearances as well for Ipswich, we have seen him make more appearances in that central attacking midfield role, being that playmaker, playing in behind the lines, creating that chance. But again, it does make you ask the question again, where is he going to play in this Wrexham team? Because you're looking at the signings we've made in Lewis O'Brien, Josh Windass, 2 players that have played central attacking midfield previously and most recently in their careers. What role will Nathan Broadhead play in this starting 11? Because I think it's all but guaranteed he's going to start. You don't spend £7.5 million on a player from then to just not completely play in the starting 11. He's got the quality, he's still, you know, young in terms of a football career, so we're expecting him to start. But whether Parky sees him as a striker, I think, I don't really know on that front, because yes, he's made appearances up front before, but he's not going to be used to and comfortable to playing up front in the Championship, because he's not played there in a number of different years, especially starting from the first minute. So again, that'll be interesting. I can't see Phil Parkinson changing the formation this close to the start of the season. Of course, we're just over 2 weeks away from our first game against Southampton, so I can't see there being a drastic change of formation. If it is, it would possibly be the change of not playing wing backs and playing solely wingers. So could that benefit Broadhead if that does happen? It definitely would, but can I see that happening? Not a chance. I don't think this close to the season. If Parky was to, utilise that different formation, it would have been earlier on in our Down Under tour. But again, could he have known about the signing of Nathan Broadhead by then? Yeah, we really don't know on that front, and I definitely cannot see Nathan Broadhead coming into Wrexham having played up front, central attacking midfielder, left winger, to then be pushed down to left wing back. A, because I don't think, he'd want that personally, and B, I don't think he's got the defensive qualities to play there. And I think we can kind of gather what we can expect from Nathan Broadhead as a player. He's played on the wing, he's played in central attacking midfield, he's a good dribbler, he's confident in one-on-one situations, won't be afraid to take on and beat his man whenever he does play, whether he is playing in that central attacking midfield role up front or if we ever do play wingers. And his creativity as well will just see our goal output massively increase, hopefully, and will register more shots on goal, create more chances, because I think we do kind of need that play. We've obviously brought Lewis O'Brien in, who is a very technically gifted player who can create that chance and do the dirty work in midfield. We've got Josh Windass as well, who can create that chance. His creativity will be big, and bringing in Broadhead again, our front line and our signings we've made are just full of creativity, and I think Phil Parkinson is looking at this thinking, if we can get that one striker into the club, whether it is Broadhead or not, that clinical goal scorer, we could have a really good chance this season. And if we're looking at Nathan Broadhead's stats from the 23-24 Championship season, Ipswich Town did actually get promoted on 100 points in that season, and Broadhead played a massive role in that. 43 chances created, 44 successful dribbles, 13 goals and 3 assists, so 16 goal contributions, 135 touches in the opposition box. So if you're looking at those stats alone, he is just that creative player. He is going to be a very good coup in terms of bringing a player in who's going to score goals, create those chances, and just unlock that key pass, which I don't think we've kind of had from a midfielder over the time since the takeover. And you're looking as well, he played a really important role in their promotion to the Premier League. So bringing in a player of that quality, we should be really happy about, because in going into this transfer window in terms of recruitment, I wasn't really too sure what to expect. And if you're looking at our first signing in Ryan Hardy, recently relegated League One side, I was kind of thinking, is that the route that we're going to take down this summer transfer window? But Parky has just completely blown me away with the signings, and we should be really happy with the calibre of players that we are bringing in this summer transfer window, because it's a very special time to be a Wrexham fan. And I think saying the words Wrexham have spent £7 million on a new player 5 years ago, before the takeover had even happened, is just genuinely ridiculous. And obviously it won't be paid in a full upfront £7 million fee straight away. It'll probably be in instalments, as we've seen from previous signings this summer transfer window and previously last season in League One. But either way, it is a massive signing. And even looking at Ipswich Town fans' opinions on social media, they all seem to be gutted that he's leaving, and they said he was very underrated at the football club and his contributions went underappreciated when he was at Ipswich Town. But if you're looking at this from their point of view, he's got 1 year left on his contract at Ipswich. They're satisfied with receiving the fee. I think they've just signed Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough, so for like £15 million, so they're definitely going for it in this transfer window. And I think if they're receiving £7 million for a player that might not have played all the games in the world for next season, then I think they'll be happy with that. Yeah, and I think overall we should be very happy with this signing, like I said. And don't get me wrong, there'll be a lot of fans looking at this thinking it is a very big fee to pay for a player, but if Phil Parkinson's looking at this, he wants the best for the football club. If the funding is there, and if Parky has, got a whole group of players and narrowed it down to, Nathan Broadhead, for example, if he's the player he wants, let's just let Phil Parkinson work his wonders like he's done many times for this football club. And, if we want to be competitive in this division, if we want to continue our ambitions of just climbing up and up the football pyramid in English football, then we're going to need these proven quality players at this level. And Nathan Broadhead really fits the profile of being championship proven. Like I said, 2 seasons ago, 16 goals and assists. We've been crying out for a player like that, especially last season. We didn't have a player in League One that scored double digits. So to have a player like Nathan Broadhead who scored 13 goals in the league we're going to be competing in this season is a big bonus. And if you're looking at this from a point of view of Nathan Broadhead, the fans, the long-term fans of Wrexham, it's great to see a former academy player return back to where it all started. So Nathan Broadhead returns home to Wrexham Football Club nearly 18 years away from leaving to Everton just as a young boy. He returns now looking to bring us to the Premier League. Of course, he's Bangor born in North Wales, so he's a local lad to Wrexham. It's a massive signing. I cannot stress how big I think this signing will be. You know, I thought Lewis O'Brien was big. I thought all the other signings we've made have been big. But it seems like as the transfer window's gone on, Phil Parkinson has just gone one good signing, an even better signing, an even better signing, and the transfers have just got better and better as time goes on. So if Broadhead is going to be the player that Phil Parkinson wants up front, of course, there's been a lot of questions around, will Wrexham sign a striker? Is Broadhead that player? We really don't know. I do expect as well Kiefer Moore still to sign for Wrexham Football Club in the next coming days. So could we see 2 Welsh internationals sign for Wrexham Football Club in the space of a few days? Of course, that will take us to 3 internationals: Danny Ward, Nathan Broadhead and Kiefer Moore. So I really like what we're installing into this group. It'll be great to have, you know, Wrexham players represent Wales on the international stage. Of course, Libby Kakachi being New Zealand, we might have 3 or 4 different players head off to the World Cup next year. So that would be an incredible moment. And again, we should never doubt Phil Parkinson in terms of signings. It's a big transfer fee, but if you want a player of his quality, you're going to have to pay that big price for him. So that is it for today's video. Nathan Broadhead returns back to Wrexham Football Club, smashing our club record fee for a player. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you happy with this signing? Do you still expect to see 2 or 3 faces come through the door? Again, like I said, I'd love to hear all your thoughts on this, and I'd like to say also a big thank you to everyone that has supported the channel further, and to be honest, just supported the channel in general over the month of July. It has been an incredible month. Plenty of content has been churned out, and that's all thanks to Wrexham Football Club for making signings, departures, etc. So it's been a really exciting month, and I cannot wait for the season to start. So yeah, subscribe, like, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in another video. And I think this is the perfect time to say, up the filthy rich Reds.